All right. Good Friday morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Today is Friday, March 17th, 2023. Anybody know what today is?
Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day. That's right. Anybody Irish in here? All right. Low ancestry. That's good, man. So I'm not. John, you Irish by chance?
I'm not.
Okay. So this morning I got John Harden up here with me. John's in our safety department too as well. So just want to welcome everybody. And hey, if you haven't got free breakfast, make sure you get it over here. I know we got kind of a light attendance here in Springfield this morning, but it could be because of the weather. It's a little chilly out, man. It's a little bite in the air. We got a little taste of winter, I think.
You know, I was in about 80 degrees last week, and coming back to this is not fun. I think it's supposed to be down into the low teens tonight, tomorrow. So we need to kick winter out the front door and get some warmer weather in here.
No doubt. I got up this morning, went out there to my car, parked outside, tried to open the door. It was frozen shut. I'm like, oh, man, here we go again. I'm leaning my shoulder into it so I don't break the door handle and all that stuff. So, yeah, we're back to kind of winter conditions again. Hopefully this is the last hurrah of that, and we'll kick it down the road. But, yeah, you were playing golf last week at this time down south. So, but anyway, just want to say good morning, everybody. Get some breakfast if you haven't, and we'll get this meeting rolling. So let's go out to our terminals this morning. Let's start out in Salt Lake City. We have Mr. Aaron Ward out there.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Aaron. How you doing?
Doing well. Sounds like you guys are getting a little bit of what we had here for the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. And speaking of, I see Mr. Troy's gone this week. Are you sure you're going to get him back? I think he's down south somewhere from what I heard here. And you got him on a beach, man. He may be wanting to broadcast next Friday from down in Florida.
That's right. He may not want to come back. We've got another storm coming in next week, it looks like. So winter's not done with us yet.
How many feet of snow you got out there? I know they're saying Tahoe's like buried, Lake Tahoe area. I was reading about that. And how much you got there in Salt Lake?
Well, most of it is melted here in the valley now, but up in the mountains we're 750 inches of snow this winter, which is a lot.
No doubt. So what do you got going on in Salt Lake this week, Aaron?
Another typical week out here. We've got a lot of people training, testing for CDLs, a lot of people coming in to upgrade and getting new trucks. Just another good week. We've got some good stuff coming up here as we move into spring and summer. We're going to have the Utah Truck Driving Championships hosted here at the terminal June 1st through the 3rd. So Brian Singleton and I and Tyler Patrick are working on that, and we're excited to host that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's some good news there. It's glad we won't only be participating here in Missouri, but we're going to have Utah this year too. So Aaron Ward, he handles Aaron does a number of things out there in Salt Lake. He kind of covers over for fleet managers, but he also handles safety and personnel issues as well. And Aaron, how many years do you spend in being a fleet manager before you moved into your current role?
I was the fleet manager for 12 years before moving into my current role.
Okay, and you're originally from Missouri too, right?
That's correct. Yep.
All right.
Rogersville graduate.
Good to hear, man. Rogersville.
We have a few of those here.
We do, no doubt. So, Aaron, if you guys got anybody that's got questions or anything, make sure you get them on the mic. Love to hear from you later on during the meeting.
Sure will. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Let's head out east to Pittston, Pennsylvania. We have Mr. Rick Gifford out there.
Wow is right, man. They're excited this morning. Wow.
What's going on there, Ricky? Hopefully you got warmer weather than we do.
Hey, we do have some warm weather here. It's a little rainy this morning, but we're in the 40s, 50s are going to be today. So yeah, we got some nice weather this weekend coming up.
Good deal. So what's going on in Pittston?
Well, as you can see, we got a crowd. It's amazing the amount of people we got here today. And, it was a great week for orientation. And we got a lot of people coming in for upgrades and down to the pad working on their pre-trips. And, yeah, they're just getting at it.
That's good to hear, man. We like that. Now, I think you got a bigger crowd than we do here, the way it looks. So, hey, If you got anything that you need to bring up, any questions later on, make sure you get on the mic.
Hey, we certainly will. We appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you too. So back here to Springfield. Good morning, everyone. That's pretty good response, Johnny, wasn't it? I like that.
It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
Good deal. So welcome back here. Just want to take this opportunity, this week, I know it's a number of new folks here coming into orientation in all three terminals. And if you're new here to Prime this week, this is your first orientation, our first week of orientation, maybe probably your first Friday morning meeting. If you guys could stand and be recognized, we'd love to have you stand up. Let's give you a round of applause. Glenn, you don't count. That's okay. We still like you, Glenn. Exactly. So, hey, what you're going to find here at Prime, we're a different company, no doubt about it. We don't have a lot of policies and procedures we want. You're not going to get an orientation book where you got to follow every page and make sure you do everything correctly all the time. We got three main policies here at Prime. Number one is do your best. Number two, do what's right. And number three is treat others the way you want to be treated. And all three of those are extremely important here at Prime. And that's what we expect out of our trainers. That's what we expect out of our trainees. That's what we expect out of our in-house people. Any associate that's involved here at Prime is, do your best, do what's right, and treat others the way you want to be treated. So remember that. If you guys have questions, make sure you let us know. That's what we understand you're not going to know everything. John and I don't know everything. We've been here about 20 years, each one of us. We're still trying to figure things out around here. So it's not, it's not the end of the world if you don't know something. Make sure you ask that question, and we'll find you help, no doubt about it. So this morning, like I said earlier, I got John Harden up here. So John, how you doing today?
I'm well. Good morning, everybody. My name's John Harden. As Dave said, I'm in the safety department. We are located in the Z building on the main level up here next to leasing. We are right when you walk into the Z building there. If anybody has any questions, concerns, anything, please feel free to stop by. I want to welcome all the new folks that are here. Good to see all these yellow vests in here. Pittston looked like you were packed full of those. So welcome to Prime. Welcome to the family. You guys have made a great decision, and we're very happy that you're here. So, first thing that I'd like to do, Dave mentioned the free breakfast. Let's give John and his crew here at the Springfield terminal, as well as the other terminals, a round of applause for feeding us all. So good deal. So I'm going to go into some numbers here with the safety inspections, and every week, for those of you that don't know that this is your first meeting, any time that we have an inspection, it comes through. Dennis Davis, our safety director, looks through every one of them. We separate everything out, whether it's logs, violation related to the truck, and we go through all of them. This week was my turn to go through all of them. So wanted to mention a few of the things that I noticed that, we feel is pretty low hanging fruit that we can immediately get rid of and immediately end these unnecessary violations that we have. And, the first one that I'm going to mention is speeding. Okay. Speeding seems to be a very common theme here over the last few weeks whenever we're up here talking about our inspections. So, I think as Dave mentioned a couple of weeks ago, speeding is speeding whenever you're in a big truck. It doesn't matter if you're going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, 6 miles, 7 miles an hour. We need to make sure that we're paying attention to signs, make sure that we're watching, as we're coming into towns, as you're going through, and it goes from 65 to 55 to 45 to 35 and then back up. Pay attention to your surroundings and your signs. Make sure that we're obeying the speed limit so we're not getting pulled over for that. And the second one I wanted to mention are seat belts. So seat belts, they're there for a reason. They're there for your safety, which we're pretty fond of, your safety, right? So please wear your seat belt, wear it correctly, don't have it under your arm. But we feel like these are two pretty easy citations or warnings that we can just eliminate out of our vocabulary altogether. So one other one I was going to mention, we did have a citation for a driver that was pulled over because he had a cell phone mounted to his dash. And the officer said that there was, some sort of, it wasn't a map. It wasn't a map. Something was being watched on there. And folks, this is an extremely dangerous situation here that, a distraction that we can't have out there on the road. So, those handheld devices, put them in the back seat, put them in a backpack, whatever we need to do to make sure that our 100% of our attention and focus is on the road and your safety and the motoring public safety around you. So kind of go into some good numbers here. So last week we had 120 total inspections, 77 of those were clean. So that's a 64% clean rate. So give yourselves a round of applause. We estimate that our competition out there is running somewhere around that 35% range. So, you know, we're usually about double that every week. So great job with that. Total payout was $10,025. So, and then real quick, we're gonna mention something here that we've had happen, and I'm gonna ask Mr. Stan Casterty to come up and elaborate on this. But we've had some situations here in the past where our trainers are dropping off trainees, where it could be a TNT instructor dropping off a co-driver off the road here at Glenstone in front of the campus stopping in the road on Glenstone, impeding traffic, letting the driver out to cross traffic. And folks, this isn't safe. So Stan.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the opportunity. This is a little bit impromptu, but it's really, really important. Good morning, everyone. I appreciate y'all being here. We always want to keep this meeting upbeat, and it's still going to be upbeat. This is a positive thing about a negative subject, okay? As instructors and trainers, we have such a massive opportunity to teach people how to do the right thing, how to be professional, safe, over-the-road drivers, correct? In Missouri, this means yes, and I see a lot of acknowledgement here. Thank you. So here in Springfield, we just had this happen again last night. I've talked to instructors about this. We had an individual who parked in the turn lane on Glenstone. I'm really upset about this. Parked in the middle of the lane in Glenstone to drop off their trainee to go to campus. That's not acceptable. That is a dangerous situation. I don't care if it's at 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight, or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no good time for us to be parking a commercial motor vehicle in the middle of a busy highway or of a busy road to drop someone off. A vehicle could rear end us. We're at fault for that. If that individual gets hit, gets hurt, we're at fault for that. So that can't happen, okay? It just can't happen. So let's talk about PA and Armstrong Road in PA. I don't want students walking from the terminal down to the training pad in Pennsylvania. It's really, really dangerous. Armstrong is an extremely busy road, and we want to make sure that we're protecting our individuals. We have such an awesome opportunity to teach people the correct way, the safe way of doing things, okay? So here's what's going to happen. If there's any unsafe action like that, where common sense should have come into play, that makes kind of that's a broad statement here. You know, common sense is not so common sometimes. But in this situation with Glenstone, if someone is seen dropping their trainee off at Glenstone, then that trainer or instructor will be suspended for a certain amount of time. I don't know what that time is going to be, but I'm very serious about this. It cannot happen. It just can't happen. A life is too valuable for us to risk someone in that situation, okay? Anybody have any questions about that? Yes, sir. Hold on just a second.
I should also do something about the guys that ignore that crosswalk too. I don't know how many times I've had prime trucks blow through that crosswalk when the lights are flashing.
Well, I can't control that part of it. But you're exactly right. We can get that out there as well. I've seen that happen as well. Prime trucks, a lot of vehicles, people just don't stop for that. And it's concerning too, to that point, you know, how people are walking across from campus over to that convenience store. You don't have to raise your hand. But we got to be careful with that too. So I appreciate you saying that. I truly appreciate what all of you do, whether you're an instructor, trainer, just coming into our program here. Thank you for choosing Prime. We want to do our very best for you every day. We care about you and we want you to be successful. But we as instructors and trainers, we have to set the example. So thank you all very much. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you, Stan.
Good information there, John, no doubt. And yeah, that crosswalk, I've seen four-wheelers blow through that too. There's no doubt. I know what you're talking about. That can be a dangerous situation. So if that light's flashing, telling you got to stop, let people walk across that crosswalk there. So a couple things I want to cover real quickly before we get into our speakers on safety. 3 main principles we cover about every Friday morning safety meeting. I don't want to forget these. Number 1, let's limit your distractions. John already talked about that on inspections about cell phones. Obviously, cell phone, we look at that as being a main distraction, and it can be very much. We've got states out there that monitor this. I can tell you Georgia and New Mexico do a very good job of putting their officers up on a bridge and looking down with binoculars, looking for drivers that have their cell phones. And that's how serious it is in those states. And there's other states that they do that too. So be aware of that. But when you have that cell phone in your hand and you're moving it around, or you're reaching for it, or you're reaching for anything, it doesn't have to be a cell phone. It could be a drink, it could be something you dropped on the floor. That's a distraction. That could pull your truck when you're reaching down and you take your eyes off there. That could pull you onto the shoulder and you could hit something. And we've had those accidents happen before. So let's watch those distractions. Keep your eyes up on the road. Be looking in those mirrors every 5 to 7 seconds. Watching your gauges too, know what's going on inside your truck, and more importantly, just looking out in front, knowing what's going on out in front of you. The second item there is keep proper following distance as well. Make sure that distance in front of you, that's what you can control. So we want you to have 5 to 7 to 8 second following distance if you can do it. I understand you get in these cities and these four-wheelers are cut right in front of you, and sometimes big trucks do too, unfortunately. But once they start coming over, you can back out of it. You can slow down, give them the room to get in front of you. And even though you may not want to do that, you may not like to do that, but that's the proper thing to do, is keep that proper following distance in front of you. And also, finally, the third item, keep your speed appropriate for the conditions in your driving ability. A number of you are coming in here, you're going to be new, 55 miles an hour, maybe as safe as you want to go for a while, and that's fine. Speed limit on the interstate may be 60, 65, 70, and you're going to run at 55, that's fine. Until you get used to that speed and you get comfortable with it, and that's okay. But, the conditions of the road can make a big difference too. I got gentleman sitting over here, Glenn Horak, he's got over 4 million safe miles. He may feel comfortable driving in a little bit of snow and ice because he's done it for all these years. And some of you new folks, even a year or two of experience, you may not feel that comfortable. If you don't, pull it over, stop, get on your fleet manager. We'll take care of the load. We'll get with sales. Our shippers are much more compassionate nowadays to have their freight delivered all in one piece and safely than they are worried about being on time all the time. So yeah, we like our on-time performance, no doubt. And if the weather conditions are great, that's what we strive for, is to be on time, because that separates us from our competition. But it's the same sense too, if the road conditions are bad, they understand. And they want you safe, and we want you safe. And that's what this is about. So any questions on safety? Anything we could cover this morning? Maybe we didn't. Man, I hear crickets, John. What do you got, buddy?
All right, yeah. So that's a great point that Dave just made. As a former fleet manager, everyone that's new coming in here, whether you're here in Springfield or one of the other terminals, I'm sure that it won't be too long before you hear the term captain of your ship. And that's exactly what you are. You're the one that's driving. Whether you're in training, whether you're in a seat, it doesn't matter. You're the one behind the wheel. You're the one that feels comfortable or doesn't feel comfortable. So you're the one that needs to make that decision. So you're not going to get a lot of pushback from our end whenever it comes to safety and weather out there, inclement weather. So please keep that in mind, and please take that very serious when you're out there. So let's go ahead and get into our speakers this morning.
All right, from the Driver Health and Wellness Department, we have Rachel here. Rachel hasn't spoken in a while. Great to see you. I know you have your little one down here in daycare now, so you're here on site more often. So great. So go ahead.
Awesome. Well, good to see you too. Well, good morning, everyone. How are you doing? So I'm with Driver Health and Fitness. So you have probably, if you have your green vests on, you've probably seen Colby in orientation. He's talked to you about Driver Health and Fitness. And our office is just right upstairs next to the laundry room. So if pretend you're going in the laundry room and instead you take a left, we're that office right there. So you can come up and talk to us anytime. And basically this, kind of being out on the road and the food choices that you have, and you're pretty sedentary. you can end up being, run into some not so healthy situations. So that's what we are here for. We are a free resource for you to help you with online programs that are on your phone, or just like calls to kind of help keep you accountable to whatever health choices you're trying to make. And we have personal trainers, and then myself, I'm a dietitian, so we can talk about the personal training side of things, or we can talk about the food side of things. So whatever you feel like you might need, you can come up and talk to us. And everything is also available on our website at driverhealthandfitness.com. So yeah, any questions for me today? Okay, well, awesome. It was good to see you guys today.
Thank you, Rachel. There you go.
All right.
So please take advantage of this program that's set up here through Prime. It's fantastic. You can talk with Rachel, talk about your diet, talk about exercises you can do on the road. There is a number of things that you can do out there, and they've got a great program for it. So
Get some fabulous recipes too. I tried that chicken chili she had out last year. She did that on one of our, I guess it wasn't last year, a couple of years ago during COVID, we did that, and she brought it in for Dennis and I and Robert and Steve, and that chicken chili was good.
sounds good.
Yeah, it was. So definitely, yeah, talk to her and Colby, and they'll help you out, no doubt. So.
Okay, well, we're going to move on here to our next couple of speakers here. We're going to bring up Heather with Cardinal Sleep, and we're also going to bring up one of our fleet managers, Derek Hausman, here. So we're going to talk a little bit about CPAP. Who here is on a CPAP machine, if you don't mind? Is anybody here on a ResVent machine where you have to manually turn the dial, manually send in a 7-day R code? Nobody. One of these days, I'm going to find somebody,
You are.
and I'm going to get them up here to talk about it. So
I can go ahead and talk about the app again, though.
yes,
Just
please
remind
do
you.
that.
Okay, I'm Heather. I am with Cardinal Sleep. So I'm just going to just touch on a few things that we touched on last week, just to remind everybody this month where it's Sleep Apnea Awareness Month. So we're just kind of going to remind you of some things. If you are on a ResVent app, or on a ResVent device, then the app is up and running for the ResVent devices. So if you have any trouble finding it, it's called Res Assist. The fleet manager should have the link. And then also, you can always call Cardinal Sleep at any of our locations, and we will help you out with that. It really, really gives you a good resource to see your data every day, see if you've uploaded, see what we can see, so that we're all on the same page. So again, ResVent has the app up and available. So definitely, try to get that installed as quick as possible. We also have ResMed devices now that we have for purchase. So I know there was several drivers waiting on them to come in. So we have those available now as well.
All right, perfect. So the ResMed devices that Heather is talking about, so over COVID and the parts shortage, just like every other industry across America here, there was a recall. I think there was all kinds of things that kind of happened all at once. So these machines, you have to manually connect to Wi-Fi, manually do some things, whereas the ResMed and Philips that are out there connect to cell phone towers, and they're a lot easier to receive data from. So those are the devices that are available now for purchase.
Yes.
If you are having problems with ResVent, if you're on ResVent and just don't want to admit it this morning and you're here, so you can speak with Heather about that. So, we've got Derek up here as kind of a feel-good story here, right? So we're going to let Derek kind of tell his story. Derek was on CPAP, lost some weight, looking good. So how'd you do it?
So anybody that has worked with me for a while, I've been here for, it'll be 11 years next month. I went through quite a transformation. So like a lot of people during COVID, you do some thinking, you reset some goals. For myself, honestly, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was starting to fall asleep during times that I know I shouldn't be. I was not getting proper sleep. I actually, prior to that, was actually trying to get onto a CPAP machine, and found that for me, it was a very difficult process. I went and got a sleep study. I didn't do it through Cardinal. I was referred to a couple different doctors, and finally got myself on a machine and got frustrated with it. Couldn't find the right mask. I had a deal where they call them nasal pillows, if anybody knows. That didn't work for me. It would push air out of my mouth. Then they put a chin strap around my entire head to keep my mouth shut and all that kind of stuff. And it was such a pain. So I'd given up on it. And my weight had gotten up to about 400 pounds. That's not an exaggeration. Today I weigh about 260. I work out, my transformation. That's the story as far as the weight goes. But then I came back to the CPAP machine through Heather. I work with drivers and I see drivers working on it. I've seen some of my own drivers use it and it helped them. And to be honest, I was getting pretty desperate. I was feeling bad. I was slow, tired, didn't have motivation to work out, any of that stuff. And I didn't realize until I got to the point where I was so desperate that I had to do something different. So I picked up the phone, I called Heather, and I just asked her to help me, and that's what I did. And I told her what my struggles were. I told her that whole first part of the story. She was very awesome. So you got to have the sleep study, right? Well, how hard is it to get your hands on medical records when you need them? It's almost impossible. Heather did it. She did all the work for me. She got a hold of, our provider and got the documentation needed, got me into a machine, got me a mask that she said was very popular with our driver group. And it made a huge difference, and I didn't realize what a good night of sleep was. I forgot what it felt like to actually get sleep. And I woke up and had energy, got through my day, started working out again, and the rest is history. So the reason that I was asked to come down here and talk about this is mostly because we do get a lot of pushback. And believe me, I understand this can be a very tough process. It can be hard. But what I found is that Heather and Cardinal Sleep, they're very, very good at what they do. And they do care, and they will help, and they'll put in the work, and they'll do what you need to get you the sleep that you need. And it's transformational. If you're one of those people that says, I just don't have the energy, or I'll do it tomorrow, I'm telling you, one good night's sleep, for those of you that really need it, that know that you're not getting it, reach out. Reach out. It'll make a difference. Heather will help.
Hey, thank you for that. Now, does anybody have any questions for Derek? Specifically related to his story and his success that he's found and anything he just talked about with getting on a CPAP machine? Nobody. Okay. No questions in Pittston. No questions in Salt Lake City at all. I don't think so. So, okay. Well, thank you for that. Great story there. And we work closely with Heather and Cardinal to make sure that anybody out there that is on CPAP are compliant, and we can continue moving and hauling freight. And I did have a volunteer that mentioned that they were on the resident machine. So I will ask this gentleman to come up real quick because I want to ask you a couple of questions. I've been trying to do this for a few weeks now. This gentleman's been here for a really long time at Prime. Good morning, sir. How are you? Good. This is Ben. Ben's been here for almost 12 years, you said. So, okay. So you're on the resident machine. Okay, perfect. So the resident is the one that you have to manually connect to Wi-Fi. You've got to turn the dial. You've got to do a little extra work. And whenever we get the data every week, these are typically the machines where we're lacking the most data. So we have to reach out. Heather and I work closely every day, getting this data in. So how do you get your data set in, and how difficult is it?
First off, I use either the modem that's built into it. You connect your hotspot, you turn on your hotspot on your phone, and once you get that up and running, then you connect you dial your machine through the sequence to get to Wi-Fi. Click on Wi-Fi. It's going to bring up your phone that's already been initialized into the system. And when you click on your phone in the system, what it does is it will automatically start connecting. If it makes a connection, it'll take a few minutes, and then it'll revert back to show your name back in the Wi-Fi list. If it doesn't, it'll just keep saying I'm connecting. If you don't get that, get on your phone, take a picture of dial. You're gonna go back to your beginning to where it says info. You're going to dial it to click info, dial it down to your 7-day. You're going to click on that. When you click on that, what you're going to do is it's going to show you a series of numbers and a big long number down at the bottom that says R code. Take a picture of that. And then you're going to get in the email through Heather, which is
The charts at cardinalsleep.net.
Yeah, charts at Cardinal. I got it logged in my phone. That's why I don't have to remember it. But you go into that, you log into it, you send your fleet manager's name, your driver code, send that information to them, and they will update it in the system. And just recently, I talked to Nathan, and he gave me another method of actually going into the USA.resident.com.
Yes.
And you can actually do an upload where you plug your chip into your computer, and it'll actually transmit that information forward also. So, but I've been on the machine ever since I started with Prime in 2009. And I can tell you, like this gentleman right here said, you don't know what a night's sleep is. They estimated that out of an 8-hour period, I was only getting about 2.5 hours of sleep a night because I was constantly awake, going to sleep, awake, going to sleep. How many times do you get up to go to the bathroom at night? I was doing 4 and 5 times. I got told that is not possible. You are not getting any sleep because your body's not going into REM. You're not getting that downtime that you should be getting. So by getting on that machine, trust me, it's like night and day. The only problem I had with it is I put on a little bit extra weight. I didn't lose it.
Well, that might happen just to all of us. You've also been on the other devices as well. So you've been on, I think, probably all of them. Yeah, I think you've been on.
I've been on Fisher & Paykel.
Yeah.
Philips.
So
Now I'm on the Resident.
So the resident devices, I feel like they're really good devices. It is a little bit different on how you do the upload, but in comparison, is it that much work for you or?
No,
Okay.
no, not really. I mean, how many of us use our phone every day to take pictures, to do different things? Send a text message. It's a quick email. If you keep this information stored in your phone, it's a matter of take a picture, click on the email, bring up the charts at cardinalsleep.com, attach that email and send it. It's that quick. You know, we send text messages, we send emails to everybody, and anybody and everybody we know. This is just one minor email that we have to send every Monday. So as soon as you get up, grab your phone, take that picture real quick, send it, and you're done for the day. And it's good for that. That's good for a week. I just got my reading yesterday from Nathan. I am 95% for the month and 100% for the week.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Yes.
Thank you very much, Ben, for coming up here.
Thank you.
And that was unscripted, so I didn't know, with some of the feedback that I've had, I was glad that it was all positive. So,
Yeah.
Again, these resident devices, these are essentially a prescription that you're getting from a medical doctor, medical professional saying, hey, you need this to be healthier. So you don't neglect that. Take that very seriously. This is for your health. So, Bill, I think we have a question right down here.
Good morning, everyone. About 6 years ago, my youngest cousin, he passed away from sleep apnea. He was overweight. And just want to congratulate you. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I'm very inspired by your progress and you losing all that weight and working out. You saved your own life. So that's wonderful. Thank you.
To that point, my family has noticed a huge difference. I'm more aware for things. I shared a hotel room with my grandpa one time. We were on a trip and he's like, that's the last time, man. You were rattling the pictures on the wall, so.
Do you ever get confused being called Travis Kelce or Zach Brown, one or the other?
I get The Rock a lot and I'm just kidding.
There we go.
Just kidding.
All right. So Heather's going to stick around here after the meeting. If anybody has any other questions, she'll be happy to answer them. If you don't see her, you can come up, see me, and we'll refer. But again, that email address is charts@cardinalsleep.net. So if you're having trouble with Wi-Fi, get those pictures sent in. So
I got pins too. Pins and information.
So we got some giveaways over here as well. So come see Heather after the meeting. So, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you both. Give them a round of applause.
Thanks. Thank you, Heather.
All right, let's jump right into Doug Tam with our maintenance department. kind of caught Doug off guard. there.
Yeah,
He's in the back of the room.
Doug oversees Road Assist, and he's going to bring up Phil from Thermo King too as well. So he's got a visitor here, and I guess really Phil's not. He's on site, so he's just like a prime associate, pretty much.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, we have all our on-site reps here every Friday. They sit over here in the corner from Freightliner, Peterbilt, Carrier, Thermo King. So anything you need, any question you have, don't let it slip by today. Get them in a corner. Just don't let them get out of the corner because they run really fast. So get them cornered, a group of you, and ask those tough questions because they'll answer them for you. I'll just go over a few things for tires. Make sure you get your tires on the in-house. You don't want to get tires over the road. We can save you about $140 per steer tire and $100 per drive tire. And that's on new tires. And we have an assortment of used drive tires. So you can usually get in and out of our tire bay for around $300, $300 to $400 if you just need one drive tire replaced. So come by and see us, Salt Lake City, Pennsylvania, Manuka, and here in Springfield, of course. I'll let Philip pick it up. Go ahead, Philip.
All right. Again, good morning, guys. Nice to see these yellow vests in here again. So I'm going to cover a little stuff on APU today. Just some basic stuff, again, that we cover in our pro maintenance class. If you don't know what that is, that's something you guys can go to every Tuesday and Thursday starting at 1300. So we do some basic training. This is part of that training. We cover just minor repairs that you guys can do to save yourself some time and money and get you rolling quicker. So I've got a little PowerPoint here presentation that I cover in the pro maintenance class. So we can go to the next slide, please. Here's the basic HMI controller that you'll see in your bunk, of course. If you do have a Webasto heater, there will be a separate knob on this, but this is Thermo King. So basically we have our on-off switch and our temperature control and our fan speed. Next slide. Okay. This mode will be in cool. Of course, it's got the little snowflake. You can adjust your temperature to whatever you want. And then, of course, your fan speed. Next slide. Okay, here's probably one of the most important ones. We have this will be our alarm codes. Okay, we've got the little triangle that will show up either yellow, which means we need to check it, yellow alarm, and then we have a red alarm, which is basically a shutdown. Next to that, you'll have ENG code, which means you've got an engine fault. Okay, then you have an alternator code, which either means you have an alternator fault or a charging issue with the APU or your truck batteries. And then we have ACS, which is air conditioning system. And then most important, if you guys didn't know, if you ever get back there and you see that standby light lit up, what that means is your APU is running. Anytime you turn your ignition key to the on position, your APU shuts off. Okay, so it goes into standby mode. So you drive, and anytime you stop and turn that key off, it's gonna go back to wherever that was set before. Okay, next slide. Fan only, again, it's pretty easy. Next slide. We're going to go to heat mode. Okay, again, you're going to go in heat if you have the full Thermo King. That is heat mode. Okay, and then you got your temperature. I will tell you a little secret. If you line that little dot up with that temperature symbol on your HMI, that's around 65 degrees in heat mode. Okay, so you don't want to crank that thing all the way to hot because it's just going to run, blow you out of there, and then shut off, and it won't come on for a while. That little, if you see right below your temperature sensor is looks like a little button almost sticking down there. That is actually your interior temperature sensor. So that's what reads the temperature of the inside the cab. Okay. So the newer ones have a little guard around that because a lot of people thought that was a reset button, but it's actually a temperature sensor. So, but yeah, if you want to keep it around 65, it's in there. Again, alarm codes, it's basic. We can go to the next slide. Anytime you see that QR code, no matter if it's a TK reefer unit, it'll be on your APU, your HMI. Scan that, it'll take you straight to the operator's manual. Okay. Next slide, please. Here is just a picture of your APU, your access door. It's a two-part, so you push the lower section. It's spring-loaded. Those two latches pop open. You'll be able to open the access door, so your on-off switch, and check your oil level. Next slide, please. Okay, here's probably the three most important things that you're going to see inside that access door. Most important is your on-off switch, okay? Learn where that is, open your access door and find it. You would not believe how many drivers come into repair shop. Hey, I took my truck in to get it fixed. Now I get to my stop, my APU don't work. My HMI lights up like it should be working, but nothing works. Okay, what happens? You took it in, you had it in standby mode. So when you shut that key off, tech starts working on your truck. APU fires up for whatever reason. It needs voltage or AC or whatever. So instead of getting in your truck, turning off your HMI, he just opens that access door and shuts that power switch off. Okay, so it kills the power to the pack while he's working on your truck, and you're gonna have it come back on. You go back. I'm sorry, I don't know why it does that. So keep that in mind. You got everything lit up. Go out there and check that switch before you go to the shop. Okay. Your oil dipstick and your oil fill, okay, it's right there. So we can go to the next slide. Our oil dipstick, okay, you want to check this oil level. I would recommend doing it every day when you do your pre and post trip, okay? We have a low mark and a high mark. In between the low and high is 1.5 quarts. Okay, the APU holds 7 quarts of oil when it's full. You do not want to overfill them, okay? So if it's halfway between, just let it run, okay? If you happen to overfill it, okay, whatever you do, turn that switch off and don't start it and get it to a shop so we can drain that to proper level. What happens is that oil will get on top of those pistons, hydrolocks it, and then we've got an expensive repair to pull everything out to clean the oil out. So just a little a tip there on that as well.
Hey,
Okay.
Phil,
Yes,
when should we check our oil on our APU? When it's cold or after it's been
Cold.
running or what?
Cold. Yeah, of course, you just like your truck, you want to check it first thing or whenever it's not running. Yep, same for your reefer as well, okay? You want to shut it off, let it drain for a little bit so you get the proper level. Okay, next slide. Here's some scheduled PM and inspection. Of course, your APU PM is due every 2,000 hours. Everybody knows where you got to turn in your hour meter to Prime. So that's how we track it. Oh, go back. I'm sorry. Your heater has to be serviced annually. Okay. That's very important. I suggest getting it done maybe around August, September to make sure it's ready to go for wintertime. Another important issue is you got to run that heater 20 minutes a month. Wintertime, that's not an issue, right? Summertime, we're not thinking about heat. But because of the small supply line, the fuel line, the hot ambience, basically they cook that fuel in your fuel pump, your heater fuel line, basically turns it to tar. And again, when you go to get the PM, it's going to be a lot more expensive to get that repaired. Okay. So 20 minutes a month, I would suggest doing it. If you're going to park, run that heater while you're doing your walk around your post trip, and then you can turn it off and turn it back to wherever you want as far as AC or fan, whatever's needed. You want to inspect your evap filter monthly, maybe more if you travel with pets, okay? And then most importantly, inspect your fuel lines, your electrical lines that run out of your APU. They run across your frame, over your fuel tank, then under your cab, okay? We've actually had where we've rubbed a hole in the fuel tank because the lines were rubbing on the tank. So keep an eye on that when you're doing your pre and post trips. Next. Here's a picture. This is actually a Freightliner. Okay, I've got the bunk raised up. There's are your vents. You want to my left is far left is your intake for your heater. Okay, and then you have on the right you have your heater outlet and your AC outlet. So you don't want to put any backpack. You don't want to block those. Okay, you would not believe how many Walmart plastic bags we pull out of that intake for that heater. So if your vents are missing or whatever, make sure you get those replaced. Keep that area clean. It'll make everything work a lot better. Next slide, please. Okay, here's a picture again. This is a Freightliner. You can see your heater. That's what your heater looks like. It's an S-bar heater. Then we have our evap, and you can kind of see the blue filter there that you want to replace. You can do this yourself. You can buy the parts here at Prime. 4 clips, pull it off, it pulls out, put a new one in, you're good to go. The thing about the heater is whatever you do, make sure you don't stack anything heavy on that, okay? Like tire chains, we see a lot of that heavy weight on that. The tolerance on those blower wheels is very close to the housing, so try to keep that clean, okay? Keep it clear of objects. And I think that's it. Kind of flew through that, so I'll be here after the meeting if anybody's got any questions or has issues with their APU.
Real quick on that heater too, if you're going into a cold area, make sure when you treat your fuel, you run that heater. That way you get that treated fuel through that passenger side tank. Okay, make sure you run that heater if you treat your fuel.
Yep, good point.
Is there a proper way to reset your bunk heater if it's constantly going out? And then you turning it off and then turning it back on, it comes on, then it shuts back out again.
Okay, yeah, first off, look at your temperature where you have it set, okay? And then make sure you have no obstructions. But yeah, once you just power off your HMI, just leave it shut off. Let the heater has to cool down. Okay, if it keeps failing, like it runs for a little bit and then shuts off, we've got maybe a glow plan that's not working or it's not getting proper fuel. Does it smoke a lot when you have that?
Well, no, I just got everything changed on it, but some reason when I hit colder temperatures, still hitting colder temperatures.
Mm-hmm. Are you in high altitude, like
No,
Colorado?
It
Or
happened here.
okay,
Waking up and it's freezing cold in there and I'm keep getting up. Okay, let me shut it down for 15, 20 minutes. Let me start it back up.
yeah, we've got an overheat issue, so that's something we need to plug into and find out what the codes are in it. But you can get with me after and maybe we can set you up some service.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just finish it off with, since tire chains came up, if you're turning your truck in, swapping out trucks, or God forbid, leaving us, make sure you turn your tire chains in the outbound bays 2 through 5. That way you can get the proper credit for them. We buy those used chains back. So outbound bays, don't leave them in your truck. Bring them to us, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys. Anybody have
Thanks,
any
Phil.
questions?
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. We'll take it. Yeah.
Okay, so they'll be up, they'll stick around here. If you have any questions that you think of, feel free to come up after the meeting and get with them.
Let's bring old Mitch up here from marketing.
Yes, Mitch, I think you're a first-time speaker here, aren't you?
First time speaker, long time listener.
Sorry.
Not a first-time speaker. Maybe a third-time speaker. I don't know. But hey, everybody. Morning. My name is Mitch. I work in the marketing department here. Just wanted to talk for 30 seconds or so on an awesome opportunity that we have through our membership with the Truckload Carriers Association, or TCA, as you'll commonly heard it referred to. The applications for their TCA scholarship fund are open now through May 5th. So what that is it's a scholarship opportunity for anyone who's associated with a member organization. So Prime being a member of TCA, that means any Prime associate, driving or non-driving associate, and your children, grandchildren, or spouse are all eligible to apply. I sent out a message yesterday, I believe it was. So if you're a driving associate, you can find the information and the link to apply on the Prime mobile app. And if you're a non-driving associate, I sent it out via email and the app as well. So last year they gave out $160,000 worth of scholarships. So that's all to 4-year attending students. Again, your children, grandchildren, your spouse, or if you're a Prime associate, you can apply for this. Super awesome opportunity, and you might as well take advantage of it. At least apply. We've had several family members of Prime associates be recipients of the scholarship in the past few years. So definitely something you should take advantage of if you're interested.
All right, good information. Any questions for Mitch on this? All right, thank you, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going to bring Terry up. Terry's with Abacus.
John, have you done your taxes yet?
They're done.
Man, you're ahead of me.
I don't
haven't even touched
mess
mine.
around, right?
I know. Must be nice.
Hello, everyone. So who out there has already conquered that tax return and got it all done, put to bed? Show of hands. Come on. Woo! All right.
Not very many.
So now reality. How many of us still need to file? Hands up. All right. So I know you can, really dread it because it's a lot of work. There's a lot of things that you have to do, a lot of things that you have to keep track of. But it's okay. It's okay. We get those expenses in. Make sure that you are getting your expenses in. Make sure that you get your tax documents. And I know it just came out recently this week that on the Prime app, it's easy. They've made it very easy for you on the Prime app to pull those tax documents as far as your 1099 W-2s. All of it's there for you. So that part is made easy for you. So the one thing that I don't want you to do is to avoid it. Because if you avoid it, then things happen that go out of your control. Right now, you're in control. All right. You get to prepare that tax return. You get to put in the expenses that you have, that you know that you have. But if you don't do that, then who do we put in control? The IRS, because they're going to get that tax return and they're going to file one for you. You have until April 18th. We got 1 month to file. Now, if you can't, because we've still got to get all those documents together, you can file an extension. For those of you owner-ops that have paid your quarterly estimates, no big deal. You can file that extension. There won't be a penalty. But the extension is to file, not to pay. So if you're going to owe, there will be a small penalty if you've not paid in anything throughout the year. So I brought with me today Betsy Dyer, and Betsy is the head of our tax resolution department. And I brought her up here, and she is really good at what she does, but I hope that you never have to actually talk to Betsy. And I know that sounds really bad, but if you're talking to Betsy, that means you've got a tax problem, okay? But Betsy, you want to tell them some things that can happen if they don't file?
Yeah, so this is a safety meeting, right? So we want to limit your risk. So someone said it, be the captain of your own ship, right? So the IRS and the state agencies will take control of your finances. They'll garnish you. They'll revoke your CDL. I've talked to several drivers that have called me that says, hey, I'm stopped, and they revoked my CDL because I didn't pay my taxes. Did they get notices? Yes. They got letters in the mail that they didn't pay, and they just avoided them. So don't avoid your tax situation and be the captain of your own ship. The worst thing you can do is not to file. If you are being garnished, if you are at risk for your CDL to be taken, you want to protect your right to work. You want to protect your right for your own paycheck and what you're going to get paid. You don't want them to take control. So if you have an issue like that, please come see us or talk to your accountant that is, specializes in transportation, that knows what expenses you can deduct, knows that you're over the road, that you can't go into the IRS office because you need to be working. So we are here to help you if you want to talk to us.
So again, the date is April 18th to file. Also, first quarter estimates are also April 18th. So everybody be prepared for that as well. If you need help, if you need guidance, we're right upstairs, right next to the movie theater, the pool tables up there. We're right there. Come talk to us. Let us help you, guide you through that, okay? All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good morning.
Awesome information. Thank you.
Thank you
John,
both.
that brings up a good point. States can suspend your license, just not for, paying moving violation tickets. They can suspend them for taxes, suspend them for child support. You don't pay child support, they'll suspend you. And that's a number of states like to do that because it gets your attention real quick. And if your license is suspended here, we can't use you until we get that fixed. So keep that in mind, no doubt.
So all very good information for anybody that's new here, especially that haven't been through this before through a tax season, please, whether you use Abacus or somebody else, please use somebody that's very familiar with this industry. So don't walk into the first place off the street, and get your taxes done last minute. So it will be very detrimental result if you do that. So a couple of house cleaning issues here I wanted to mention. We've talked a lot about the Prime app. I know there's a lot of yellow vests out here, especially in Pittston this week. So please familiarize yourself with the Prime app. It's the lifeline to Prime here. It's got everything you'll ever need on there, from permits to trip scanning. So everything can be done through the Prime app. If you're here in Springfield, our resident expert, Richard, is over here. If you have any questions, please come up and see him. You can also stop by the safety department. Dave and I will fumble through it the best we can, but Richard is a lot more knowledgeable than we are whenever it comes to this. So also going to kind of put in a shameless plug. This week, we started a new, I don't know if you want to call it a blog or segment there on the Prime app. It's called the Weekly Safety Staple. So we're going to send out some hopefully useful information from week to week. We're going to also include a video in there probably once a month just with some helpful tips that hopefully helps you guys out there on the road. Maybe bring some things back to your attention that maybe we forget about a little bit. So
And if there's any topics you guys want to discuss, make sure you let us know. We love hearing from you and what's important to you out there on the roadway. Maybe there's something we're missing up here we don't talk about. Friday mornings or the new blog that's coming out, let us know and we'll talk about them. It's all pertinent information to everyone.
Absolutely. So, I know it's St. Patty's Day and everyone, or not everyone, some of us have got our green on, but if you'll notice,
You and I look like Christmas trees, I think, man. You got
Exactly.
green and the red. Yeah.
we got our green and red on. So you'll see a lot of red on Fridays up here, right? Our vendors, Mr. Lowe here, we got red on, and what red stands for is remember everyone deployed. So we appreciate our veterans. And at this time, we would like anybody in any of our terminals who is here to please stand up if you served in our armed forces so we can thank you for your services. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. And with that, whoop, Robert, I don't want to make you sit down again. So we'll just bring you up here to close us out if that's all right.
Straight away, I'm not used to getting up here without my warm-up man, Woodkey here.
Did you let him take vacation?
Well, I didn't let him. He just took off. That's how he rolls. He don't ask. He just takes off. Just a word or two on this IRS stuff. I've been in trouble with the IRS myself. I'm telling you what. We kind of sometimes let it slide. They ain't gonna catch me. I'm on the road. I'm here. I'm there. I'm across country. Trust me, folks. They will track you down. They will track you down. They will find you. And they will charge you penalties and interest. Am I lying, Daryl? I know Daryl's probably been there himself, and he's a CPA. That's how smart he is. He's a CPA, and he's still. But anyway, don't try to dodge him, and don't try to forget about him. Do your thing. At least file your extensions, and it'll work out. But if you don't pay attention to them, they're going to come after you. They're going to find you. And then they're just going to make it hurt. Because I think they enjoy making it hurt. That's how the government rules, you know what I mean? They are into that inflicting pain on people. And it ain't right, but that's how they roll. So, do your stuff, because they'll find you. Anyway, it's good to see y'all this morning. We have some really special people out here. I mean, we appreciate all those that have been with us for a while. And you new folks, thank you for deciding on Prime. We appreciate you being here. We love you already. You're just joining our family, but you're already family. And we appreciate you being here. We have a special person right back here, Dee Sova. Dee, come up here. Yeah, I put her on the spot. Now, Dee's going to tell us what's going on with, in her realm, because she's a public speaker. She's an ambassador for Prime. She's an ambassador for the trucking industry. Is it Cameron Hall be on her show? And then the Rose Rocket, is that a podcast? Yeah. I mean, she's a star. This person right here, she is. I mean, she doesn't admit it. She's very humble, but she's a star. And we're very proud of her because she represents us very well. Represents the industry very well. We're very into the independent contractor model. I'm sure we have probably mostly ICs in here today, and they, we do pretty well, and we want to protect that business model. I mean, the government. Here's the government again. Just like the IRS. We're kind of under attack. They won't let us be. Look, we're just out here trying to make a living and doing the best we can, but still, there's always somebody who wants to tear you down. Now, I can't figure that out, but that's how it is. But Dee has been an ambassador for Prime and for the industry, talking to senators and congressmen about this important issue. So, Dee, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I've always stated that I'm blessed because you started this company. I will never say less than that. But since coming to Prime, the opportunities while over the road and even coming off the road are really because he started Prime.
I paid her to say that, folks.
No, he didn't. But I recently did the Rose Rocket interview. It was really well. It was the first time I really got to tell my full story of what my trucking journey was like and how I lost my daughter, my husband. Cameron Hall show, one of the producers, I did a slight interview during COVID. They came back 2 years later, did a follow-up. Last week, I got a text from someone at the Tamron Hall show who wants me to come to the studio to do a follow-up. It was supposed to be on the 20th, but they're changing the date, so I'm waiting on the information about that. But I'm really excited. But while I'm here, I also have to say to you ladies, on Monday, what day is it on Monday? It's the Highway Diamonds Gala. I'm gonna need y'all to show up. Men, if you got women, bring them up there. We need to see all of you ladies. This is a celebration of you. Your Highway Diamond of the Year, Emily Plummer. She's had an extraordinary year, and we want to make sure that she gets to talk a little bit about that. And we want to celebrate you all. See, I have to turn it away from me. You see that? You saw it?
Yeah. I tell you what, our female drivers are very, very important to us. You know, we're probably about twice the industry average as far as percentage. We're up there around 14, 15%. That's still not enough, because I'm telling you, these girl drivers are safe. They deliver the freight. They pick it up and deliver it over yonder on time and in good condition. Yeah, give yourselves a hand. Yeah, this girl power, I mean, they fetch it. They get it done. And we're proud of them. So we're going to celebrate with them, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you come to that party, because it's quite a gathering. Anyway, Dee, thank you very much. Give her a round of applause before she gets out of here. We have a lot of good folks, and Dee is right up there. She's right up there on top. She just does a tremendous amount of good and spreads goodwill for Prime in the industry. So we're very proud to be that association. Folks, I don't have a lot. You know, it's getting closer to spring. Freight's a little tough out there. You know what I'm saying? Can I have an amen? A little bit tough out there. But we're fighting through it, and we're going to win. We're in it to win it. I promise you that. You know, our sales folks are out there shaking and baking. We're making deals and doing things that we need to do to keep this fleet moving, and at good rates too. So I'm proud of each of you, because your service is what makes it possible. I mean, the only way we get the good rates and get the volume is because of that on-time delivery, on time and safe. So I appreciate what you do. God bless each of you, and please be safe out there.